Here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the decibel level is a little bit louder than at the golf course, and we have filled 22 positions now here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and 3 cars have actually been bumped, and we're in the final hour of qualifying, and we'll be coming up next right after golf, and that's where they speak very, very softly. We'll see you then. Well, thank you, Terry. Here at Indianapolis, we're standing by as soon as you get that final putt to drop and decide the winner. We'll decide who will conclude the 22 top qualifiers here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the man on the bubble right now is earlier in the day when Al Unser Jr. attempted to make his 19th Indy 500.
And Unser Jr. says, look, I ran wide open all 4 laps. There's not much more in the car. They're going to try to lay the wing back. He's in the field at 220.96. Guys, I think it's going to take like 222 flat to get in this field, though.
You know, guys, what a changing the guard we have here at Indianapolis. Yesterday it was Michael Andretti that was on the bubble for the first day. Today it's Al Unser Jr., 45 years old, finds himself on the bubble here today trying to get into the field.
That was the scene afterwards when Al talked to his car owner, A.J. Foyt, standing on the left there, celebrating his 50th year here at Indy. Now, here are the top 11 that qualified yesterday, led by pole sitter Helio Castroneves. Danica Patrick is in the field in the number 8 spot, and Michael Andretti rounds out the top 11. The reason we mentioned Danica, because if you look in the number 21 spot, our second female has also qualified. Sarah Fisher put her car in the field at 221.9 miles an hour. And as we said, Al Unser Jr. currently on the bump spot. 3 cars have already been bumped from the field. They'll try again, including Buddy Lazier, John Herb, and Marty Roth. We'll be coming to you as soon as golf is concluded. Terry, we're going to send it back to you right now. Well, here at Indianapolis, it takes us about 1 second to go the distance that you guys send the golf ball, Terry Gannon, and we have had another bump here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the second day of qualifying. Let's take you out trackside. That is John Herb. He had been bumped from the field originally, but Rusty Wallace came back with 4 nice laps to move himself back into the field.
Oh, Marty, he stood in the throttle big time just then, bumped Al Jr. out of the field, and right now John Herb's in at 221.07. 4 good laps all the way around the racetrack. He looked perfect out there.
There's a lot of pressure on drivers to get the job done here today because they want to go next week and start working on race setup. You don't want to drag this qualifying program into the second weekend of qualifying and possibly into bump day. So a lot of pressure on teams and drivers to get everything completed here today at Indianapolis.
So John Herb becomes our 22nd qualifier. He is on the bump spot right now with his 4-lap average of 221.070 miles an hour. And you heard Rusty Wallace mention the fact that that means that Al Unser Jr. is in jeopardy of not making his 19th Indy 500 because he has been bumped, and as of yet, we have yet to see them roll his number 50 out into the staging area here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's show you exactly what it looks like right now. Here is the top 11. This was all action that you saw if you were with us yesterday, from Helio Castroneves right on down through Michael Andretti. And the speed range there from 225 to 222. And then today it started right after 12 noon with Scott Sharp and Jeff Simmons going into the field at 223. And there you see John Herb, the latest to get in here at Indianapolis at 221.070. And as you see the debrief going on down in pit lane, we're going to send it back to the playoff at Kings Mill with Terry Gannon. And Terry, as soon as you guys wrap up, we'll be here because the gun doesn't sound for another 15 minutes. We'll get you all caught up. Thank you, Terry Gannon. And just taking the green will be the last run of the day before the gun fires here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, ending our second day of qualifying. It is Jacques Lazier. We can tell you he is on his first of 4 qualifying laps. His brother, Buddy Lazier, has just bumped into the field, into the 22nd spot, knocking out John Herb. And that means Jacques Lazier could take out his brother if he qualifies Rusty Wallace and Scott Goodyear.
Well, right now, Jacques Lazier is looking pretty decent, but not as good as Buddy. And he's off the pace a little bit where he needs to be right now, Scott Goodyear.
You know, he's got a lot of experience around here. He knows what he has to do to get the job done. 36 years of age. He's got about 6 starts here. He's trying for his 7th, but as we can see by the tracker right now, because it's in the red, it does not look like it's very promising, guys, for him to get this completed today.
And yes, you see the red lap tracker going in the wrong direction for Jacques Lazier as he is down the back straightaway. And it looks like, yes, he has waved it off. and we're waiting for the official word. Has the gun sounded to end qualifying? If it is, our field is full to 22. As you can see across the top of the screen, those that are in all the way through Buddy Lazier in the 22nd spot. And there you notice the gray. Well, that was John Herb, Al Unser Jr., and some of the others who were bumped from the field today, and they'll have to wait till next Saturday to make another attempt to qualify for the 91st running of the Indianapolis 500.
Right now, it seems like the pressure's off of Buddy Lazier. 221.38, a good solid run for Buddy Lazier. That puts him in the 22nd spot. And I'll tell you what, the tension was just building like crazy with this guy.
Yeah, it's a shame that the golf did run long, because we had quite a few bumps going on here at the last half hour as John Herb got back in, then Buddy Lazier got in, and Jacques Lazier just missed. Let's show you the 22 now. Of course, the first 11 qualified yesterday with Elio Castroneves leading the way at 225, and Danica Patrick, the first of two women now of the three, qualified in the field yesterday. She's in the number 8 slot. As we go to page number 2, we picked it up with Scott Sharp early this afternoon, and then as Sarah Fisher, she poked her nose into the field and did it very well at 221.9 in the number 21 spot. And then that last spot, it flip-flopped back and forth here in the last 15 minutes, but it belongs to Buddy Lazier after day 2 of qualifying at 221.380. And there is Buddy. Let's go talk to him, Vince.
Well, Buddy Lazier, how was that 4-lap run? I know you guys have really been working it here today.
We have. I mean, you know, hats off to Tim Neff, our engineer. I mean, we haven't had the car but a week, and so we're learning. I mean, we learned about a week's worth today, and we slowed down. I mean, we felt like we had a really like a 222 plus. We went in, checked things out, and the track got a little tricky there for the very end. It was fast, but balance was changing pretty quickly. But it was a good run. You know, I mean, I would love to have more time with this team in this car, because I think it would just get better and better. Obviously, now we're going to focus on the race.
You mentioned the fact that you've only had the car about a week. That got the car from Fernandez Racing. Tim Neff has worked with the Panos, the G-Force, the last few years. So this is kind of a whole new environment for not just yourself with this team, but also Tim Neff with this car. It's been a while since he's worked with the Dallara.
You know, it is, but he's really just spot on, and it's just kind of the two of us learning each other, the team learning the car. And, you know, this is the Indianapolis 500. These guys have been, you know, usually in the past, you know, you rub on your car all winter long and wind tunnel and everything you can. And to get a car last minute, I think it's just it really shows Sam Schmidt Motorsport what kind of team, what kind of guys those guys are. They dug deep, and I just really wanted to get it in the race for them today to thank them for the hard work they've done getting that car ready for me.
Well, and Sam Schmidt brought on a guy he believed in, a guy who's won this race yourself, well, the winner in '96, and you've been around this track a lot. You've gone through a lot of different experiences with a lot of different race cars. How difficult was your 4-lap run here this afternoon?
It wasn't my easiest, you know, but it wasn't the worst. I mean, it was just the car was changing, the balance was changing. You know, we still have some work to do, so we were kind of put, you know, but it was a good car, and it was quick enough. And, you know, if we needed to go 222, we probably could have gone 222. We knew what we had to do, and that's what we did. So, you know, it was fairly safe. But, yeah, I mean, you know, you got 10 minutes left, and you got to get it done. So, you know, we were obviously flat out wide open all she had. So, you know, obviously now we're going to focus on the race, and we'll have time. You know, again, in the next week we'll progress 3 weeks, so we're looking forward to this next 3 days of practice.
It's never easy at Indianapolis, but Buddy Lazier is in.
That may be an understatement. It is never easy at Indianapolis. Hey, don't go away, because we're going to be with you for the next half hour, and we'll recap what happened the entire afternoon. Al Jr., John Herb, and Marty Roth bumped from the field. We'll show you how it all unfolded when we come back. ESPN's presentation of the Indianapolis 500 qualifying brought to you by IDR Media, the official publisher of Verizon Print Directories. And here at the motor racing capital of the world, the gun has sounded, ending qualifying for the second of 4 days here at the Speedway. And let's show you the highlights of what happened. After we left you at 2 o'clock, the first to go out and bump his way into the field was A.J. Foyt, the fourth. And guys, a good solid run. All 4 laps, Scott Goodyear, at 2:22 and change.
You know, he's part of the Vision Racing team, and they've had some fast cars here this week. And they had Thomas Scheckter qualifying yesterday inside the top 11. So they certainly knew they had the speed and they had the opportunity to get him in the field today, which they did.
He's 18th right now on the grid. Sarah Fisher, the second woman to make it into this year's field. She's going to start 21st.
She looked great out there, Marty. Her dry Ryan World Special, 2:21.96 out there. I mean, she's finally got herself in the field, the second woman. We got her locked in right now.
And as Sarah brought it down to complete her run, her teammate, Buddy Rice, then took to the track at the 2.5-mile oval here at Indianapolis. And Buddy went even quicker. He moved into the number 16 spot, Scott.
You know, a guy that's won this race before, he knows how to get through traffic. He knows how to be around for 500 miles an hour. They didn't really have the package underneath him to have a shot at the front row. He knows that. He's aware of it. And he's put the tools to use that he has to be where he's at today.
And as Brianne Pettigo pointed out to all of us, Buddy Rice knocked out Buddy Lazier, and that may be history at Indy. I don't know where it is, but we'll dig in on that. John Herb also, he got bumped originally and then came back late in the afternoon to, again, at least momentarily, get himself back into the field, Rusty.
Well, Buddy squeaked himself in right now at 2:19.90, but right there at the very end, he lost it and picked it up a little bit there at the end at 2:21.07, but just wasn't good enough and got bumped out again.
And that brought us to Buddy Lazier because John Herb had put himself back into the field but on the bubble, and here came the 1996 winner, and he did it exactly what he said he needed to do. He said he could have maybe squeaked a little bit more, but not much.
And that's the experience, Marty, because he's run here before, many years experience around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, knows how to read the racetrack and knows what he has to do to get the job done. John Herb is only here for a second time, so that's probably a little bit against him trying to make the field.
So as we come into our home away from home here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, again, if you weren't with us earlier, we'll say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and thank you for joining us, even though it's an abbreviated half hour, and we're going to get you all caught up. We showed you some of the highlights. What I want to talk about first off, guys, is for the second day in a row, exactly the way they designed it, we had some exciting qualifying and bumping.
Well, it came right down to the last minute again, Marty. I mean, we were just all tensed up, seeing what was going to happen, and Buddy Lazier right at the end stands on the throttle, makes the 22nd position. This qualifying format's been so exciting, it's unreal. We've waited here all day long to wait for the last 5 minutes.
Actually, you know, we've waited for the past 2 years because this system here was in place a couple of years ago, but it has rained on pole day, so we've never seen how it was working. And you know something? Yesterday was terrific, obviously, seeing what we saw with that show. Today's the same sort of thing. I looked to yesterday, guys. Michael Andretti's 11th. He could be bumped out of the field. Yes, he makes it on the end. And look who we had here today. Al Unser Jr., a two-time winner of this event, on the bubble for a while and gets knocked off. I think this new format brings a lot of excitement to the fans, but I'll tell you something, a lot of the drivers and team owners are saying they don't like it, but I can tell you it's here to stay.
They don't like it at all, do they? I mean, it made them really nervous all day long. We saw these drivers going, oh my gosh, am I going to make it or not?
Well, one of the guys that did not make it was Jacques Lazier. He brought it in after one lap. He knew he wasn't going to make it, so let's check in with him, find out what happened on the run. Brianne Pettigo.
Jacques, I've got to ask you. You waved off that run. Were you playing a little bit of nice brother and letting Buddy stay there?
Yeah, that's exactly. You know, he's older. He needed that little extra break. But no, you know, we went in there. We obviously have been playing a pretty big game of catch up, and today we made some huge gains. I'm very, very proud of my team. We got a little aggressive there. Went out there, and I came into turn one on the second lap, and it just kind of went into a lazy slide, and then you're chasing up to the wall, and you know the run's over at that point. So, you know, I'm just awfully proud of my guys, proud of the Indiana Ice, and also very proud of Venture Logistics for everything they've did this past week to, you know, to make this dream come happen today. So, you know, I'm proud of my brother. Obviously, I'm very happy for that team, and but very, very proud of our team.
The conditions change so quickly around here. How much does that affect going out in the morning to practice and then coming out at this time of day to qualify?
Well, this is perfect conditions right now. I mean, obviously it's happy hour. It's not quite the same as what we used to see because of the daylight savings change, but obviously the track is half of it's covered in shade, so you get a lot more grip. The ambient temperatures obviously coming down, and it was just about perfect. That's why we decided to try something a little aggressive, and no, we just barely missed it. But again, I'm very proud of my guys, and you know we'll be ready for race day, and we'll qualify next weekend pretty solidly, and then we'll just go racing from there.
Do you feel like you're at any disadvantage with the Panos chassis when everyone else is out here running with a Dallara?
Well, we bet that we were going to be a little bit disadvantaged for qualifying, but we're hoping due to the fact that we've been able to develop this chassis for the last 3 years that, we'll have a solid race day. And we knew we weren't going to go for the pole, and the only other day that counts is obviously the 500 itself. So we're hoping that we have a good car for race day and be able to go up there and fight with them.
Do you feel confident that you learned what you need to learn to go in solidly for next week's qualifications?
Oh, definitely. I think we'll go back and we'll look at some numbers tonight, and I think we'll see a lot of things that we can even improve on. And we're just making gains and gains and gains. But when you start Friday and you only have a couple laps on each day, it's hard to catch up with the teams that have been out all week. But we'll be solid in next week for sure.
Well, I'm sure your brother's pretty happy with you right now. Jack?
Thanks, Brianne. Second day qualifying had more than its share of excitement, especially if you were part of the Dreyer and Reinbold team. Along with Sarah Fisher, Buddy Rice, former Indy 500 champion, makes it into the field. And were you at all worried that you might get, dare I say it, bumped out of the field?
No, I mean, we knew yesterday we were vying for realistically one spot. And, we knew we had enough speed to probably get in for today. So we weren't too terribly concerned. So we waited till later in the day, made sure the car was pretty decent, and went back out there, got the car in, and now we'll get back to focusing on our race car.
Buddy, for you, this is, to paraphrase Charles Dickens, the Indy 500 has been the best of times and the worst of times. And go back and take a look at your win, and then, of course, your trials and tribulations the year after. Is this a place that's both been good and bad to you, and how has it affected your psyche when you come here?
Oh, I think it's always good. Anytime you can come to Indy and run, it's always a great time, regardless of what's happened. And I made it through May 11th this year, so I always have had some problems lately with that. No parts failures, no nothing, so it was good. So no, Dreyer and Reinbold, everything's going good there. I'm happy to be in the A1 Team USA car, and we're doing good. I'm really happy with the way everything's going, and we have a solid race car right now.
This has been an incredible season for Dreyer and Reinbold. They made a major commitment, and they've gone to a two-car operation. And many people say success comes with chemistry. Tell me a little bit about the chemistry between you and Sarah.
Well, I think that's going well. She's obviously getting back up to speed after being out of the car for a couple of years. The cars are different, the engine's different, the tire's different, but also the competition's a lot different. It's a lot stiffer, and you have to be really, willing to push it to the edge. But, with John Dick and Chris Finch on board as the engineers and the commitment that Dennis has made for this team, this is everything's going in the right direction. We're definitely getting better, and we're gonna have some really good runs here, and hopefully at the end of the month we have another one of those.
Getting along with Sarah?
Yeah, everything's going really well. I'm really happy with the way everything's going.
See, that's good, Vince, because I know that probably you had the headset on the other part of Dreyer and Reinbold, and we're letting her hear what her teammate had to say.
Well, she didn't realize she was on camera there for just a moment. She said, I wasn't wiping my eyes or anything. No, but you're looking good there. And but I know a bit stressful for you today, and you and Buddy both got it in, but there were some tense moments there down the stretch for you.
Yeah, but Buddy and all of them, the engineers and Dennis, were all like, it's not going to happen. Robbie's like, you're fine. But, there's always that little bit when you're two away and you're like, I wonder what people can do, who's out there, what's running, and you're just trying to stay on top of it. So.
Jack and Buddy were talking about the engineer, John Dick with Buddy, Chris Finch with yourself. How comforting is it to have a solid group, a consistent group that you're working with week in, week out?
Well, it's nice to be able to keep going. I mean, we've still only started working together since Homestead, so just trying to grow the program into the next biggest thing. And that's really hard to do overnight, and we're really glad to have all these days at Indy because it's like another great big test for us.
And how comforting is it going to be now you've got the car in the show? Now you've got a lot of practice time ahead to really get things ready for race day.
We're really excited about that because now both cars can focus on race setup and they can both push each other to the next level. And that's what we've been really doing, and it's been working really well that way.
Yeah, she's always a fan favorite here at Indianapolis. Sarah Fisher in the field, guys.
Absolutely. The fans do flock to Sarah. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll relive those dramatic moments from yesterday when it was drama right down to the wire at Indianapolis.
Turning it loose on a pole run right now. Tony Kanaan takes over the pole position. Wow, Dario, he's got the pole position right now. Can he hang on? We have a new pole sitter, Dario Franchitti. Sam Hornish Jr. half a lap away from grabbing the pole position from Dario. Did he do it? No, he's second. Does Scott Dixon have anything for Dario Franchitti? Incredible. Dario hanging on. Elio wants to make a last-minute run at the pole position. Green flag waving for Elio Castaneves. Go get it. 2.5 miles away from grabbing the pole position. Did he do it? Yes, he did. Castaneves is on the pole.
About 3 minutes remaining.
Here comes Tony Kanaan, green flag waving. TK, show us what you got. Oh my goodness, Tony Kanaan is fast enough.
High drama.
No, he did not do it. Elio gets it. Unbelievable.
And for Elio, it is his second pole here at Indianapolis. Of course, he's a two-time winner. Take a look at your front row. Beside Elio, it is the two Andretti Green teammates, Tony Kanaan and Dario Franchitti. Scott, in row number 2, a pair of Chip Ganassi's boys.
You know, they expected they would be on the front row and have a shot at the pole, but they could not find the speed on pole day, so a little disappointed, but they'll be fast in the race.
And then in row 3, Rusty, the surprise of the first day, Ryan Briscoe.
Ryan Briscoe, great run for him. Danica Patrick, she really wanted to go again. She knew she could go faster, but she didn't do it. Marco Andretti rounds out row 3 and outside.
And in row number 4, Thomas Schechter from Vision Racing really turned in a great performance. Michael Andretti rounded out our first day qualifiers. And then with all 5 Andretti Green cars, the question would be who would be in today? And it's kicked off first with Scott Sharp.
And row number 5, number 17, Jeff Simmons did a nice job, the Ray Hall teammate of Scott Sharp, to get in the field. Ed Carpenter, he was fast, thought he'd be in day 1, did not get the job done. And 14, just a favorite because of he's running an A.J. Foyt car. Darren Manning really has a good shot at placing well here this year.
Row 6, Buddy Rice. He knew he could run good. He ran 2:22.8, some change. Koski Masur in the middle, a number 55 car. Great run for him, and A.J. Foyt to 4th. 2:22.41. He was happy with that run.
And then in rows number 7, Vitor Mira and Davey Hamilton. What a story that was if you were with us earlier today. And, of course, you just heard from Sarah Fisher. And rounding out the field, Buddy Lazier. There he is on the inside, position number 22. Well, one of the guys who has seen the ups and downs just in today alone is that man right there, John Herbert. He still can smile. He's been bumped twice today. We'll talk to him when we come back. Back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where things have quieted down at least until Wednesday, when we'll begin second week of practice. And we've got 22 cars in the field. We'll fill the field next Saturday, and then bump day following Sunday. Now, it has been a ping-pong ball kind of week for poor John Herb. But not only did he get bumped twice today, let's take you back earlier in the week when this was the first contact we had with the wall.
That's usually a situation when the car is just a little bit loose. He gets into the middle of the turn and the back end comes around from him. Good thing for the safer barrier, though, Rusty, because that certainly helps cushion the blow when the car hits the wall.
Well, as you can see, he caught the very end of the safer barrier right there. Looks like that safer barrier needed to come a little farther. But right now, he's just about to get bumped by Buddy Lazier. And I'll tell you what, John Herb, he's probably the hardest working guy out there right now. He's had a crash. He's tried to attempt this thing twice. But I really feel like he's going to get in next week.
And there is Buddy's run, and you can see John seeing the end result and knowing that, it's going to mean another week of work before we can take another stab at it. And let's hear from him. We saw him with a smile on his face a little earlier. Vince, you've caught up with him.
That's right. It has been an eventful week. The incident, a couple of qualifying, trying to get in this field, and it's been a long time, since 2001, since you were in the Indianapolis 500. So you've dealt with some of the ups and downs, but how's this week been for you?
Well, it's been real good. We've been kept out from doing a lot of laps this May, unfortunately. So with the accident, like you said, and getting a new car ready, finishing off the little details, I guess, it's been a little bit longer in the garage and less time on the track. But we got out today and really showed the strength of this team by working our program forward, getting in early, getting bumped out, doing our homework out in the track during some practice, and coming back strong. Unfortunately, we didn't have what we needed to get in the show. So
you had a bit of a little bit mechanical issue on your last qualifying lap, right?
Yeah, the guys told me that we had a fuel problem, so we lost some fuel pressure. Definitely starved the motor a little bit, so lost some speed there. I thought it was just the push we had in the car, because that was substantial enough. But they said no, we lost some fuel pressure and dropped the last lap quite a bit of speed. So it's unfortunate.
It has been since 2001 since John has been in the field at the Indianapolis 500, but confident that he'll get in there next week. Brianne?
Hi, I'm with Stefan Gregoire, who's looking forward to competing in his 8th Indianapolis 500. Right now, he's standing here with his 2 children, and his wife is making her way over here. It's Mother's Day after all. Stefan, tell me about your runs today. Were you pleased with them?
We picked up some speed. I mean, we went, we got in the 220s, but we really need 221s, and we just didn't have enough time to do it. We started late on Thursday, so we were lacking. It's a shame we missed those 2 days. Otherwise, I think we would have been able to do something like 221 today. But I mean, at least we picked up some speed. It's better than being like going backwards. And hopefully next week we'll have enough speed to put it in the show.
We talked a bit with Jacques Lazier about the Panos. Do you feel like you're struggling with that here?
Yes, it's obviously not the fastest car right now. It may be a good race car because we think we have a good race setup. We worked actually on the race setup earlier, the previous few days, and so. But the thing is to put it in the show first. We have to put it in the race. So, yes, it's not easy.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you,
guys.
And of course, that reference to the Panos is the different chassis, the second different chassis. Almost everyone else is running Dallara except Jacques Lazier, as Brienne pointed out, and Stéphane Gregoire. We'll see some more Panoses next week when we come back to the Speedway. We'll wrap it up when we return to Indianapolis. Back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where the sun continues to set across the front stretch, and our second day of qualifying is over. And of course, we'll be back next Saturday and Sunday. As let's take a look at the results, as we have 22 of 33 positions filled for the 91st running of the Indianapolis 500. And of course, it starts off with Elio Castroneves leading away to the green flag with his second pole here at Indianapolis, followed by Tony Kanaan, Dario Franchitti. All 5 Andretti green cars made it in on the first day, with Danica Patrick 8th, and of course Michael Andretti rounding out the top 11. Then today, these are the ones that made it in. Scott Sharp all the way down through Jeff Simmons, Ed Carpenter, Buddy Rice, AJ Foyt the 4th, and there's Sarah Fisher, you heard from her, Buddy Lazier, and we had several cars, 4 in all, that made attempts, got in momentarily, and then were bumped out. And in fact, John Herb was bumped out twice. I don't know about next week. I mean, I'm looking forward to see some of these second week cars because we haven't seen them out on the track yet. They'll come out Wednesday.
Well, there's one thing I do know. The last 2 days, we have had the most incredible drama for 2 days in a row I've ever seen in my life. And you got 11 more people to fill next week, and it's going to be very dramatic again. I can only wait to see how that's going to turn out.
And Rusty, some of those people we're going to look at is going to be Al Unser Jr. He's going to try and get back into the field. We hear John Andretti might also be trying to join the field. Another Andretti in the Indianapolis 500. And Milko Duno, she's going to try and get back into the field after her crash earlier this week.
Yeah, we've only had 2 crashes here in practice this week, and that's very good, and nobody, of course, was injured. Tune in Saturday for more coverage of qualifying for the 91st running of the Indianapolis 500. It'll be on ESPN2 at 4 Eastern. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, the U.S. Poker Championship. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for spending part of your Mother's Day with us here at Indianapolis. And we'll see you next week when we go qualifying once again for the 500.